Hey, this is a special episode of Conservative Impact, and we have Right Winged Angel. You do not want to miss this. Check it out. Okay, we have another Conservative Impact interview. Haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm very blessed and very privileged to have this gentleman's time here. And while he needs no introduction, I'm going to ask him to introduce himself for the very small group of people that don't know him, because you got a big following, you know. So, um, man, if you would do me the honor of introducing yourself and let some folks know where to find you, and then we can get into it.
Yeah, well, my name is Oliver Mack. I go by the Right Winged Angel. I'm on Instagram. That's usually where you can find me until they ban me. So I'm there most of my time, but I'm also on YouTube. I'm on Twitter a little bit. So if you go on Twitter and try to find me, you're probably not going to see much content, but definitely check me out on YouTube and Instagram. And I also have a website. So you can go to rightwingedangel.com. You can see some content there. Post some news articles there. And there's also a section called the Red Pill Pharmacy, where you can go and find some information about a lot of things that the media has been lying about. And you can send your liberal friends there to get them red pill too.
And let them go there and learn a few things.
Yep, that's right.
I'm all about that. But yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I just started using Twitter because I had a lot of issue with Facebook for the same reason, censorship, ridiculous. So I got back on Twitter because I was like, you know what? Until they shut me down there, let me just try to use another avenue to spread some truth. So far, I haven't been messed with on there just yet. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
hopefully they don't
hard. It's
shut you
hard
down,
for
man.
us.
That's a lot of work to have to start over. Of course, did you get hit? I don't know if you remember. Was it late last year or early this year when they went around and started shutting down all these conservative pages? A lot of people never got their pages back. Did you get hit around that time too?
Yeah, I got hit, but I got my page back. Fortunately, I think it was down for like 3 or 4 days, and yeah, that hurt. And I think I only had like 8,000 followers then, so it'll really hurt this time if it happens.
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of work. That's the work. People don't realize
Yeah,
it takes work to build your page, build your reach, and then it's horrible and for no good reason. Um, same
yeah,
thing
it's
happened to me. I lost my page, and by the time I got it back, I was 800 followers short. And I highly doubt
yeah,
all those pages were conservative pages who got shut down. They just literally just snatched 800 folks from me. And what made it
yeah,
worse is it threw my algorithm off. So when I got my page back, it looked like I had just started it that day. So I mean, just numbers are gone, progress is gone. I mean, it it took a lot of work to get back to where I am now. But yeah,
yeah. It
but
takes a lot of work to maintain these platforms,
it
definitely.
it does. It really does. Honestly, that's why it's such a blessing to be able to be monetized, because I mean, you should be paid for that.
Yeah.
But speaking of reach, right? Your story is incredible to me. Was it an effort thing, or were you always of the mindset that, you know what, my choice, my outcome, and I could flip this and do good things? Because I'm not sure of your complete background and your upbringing, where you're from, and how you were raised to believe, but you definitely didn't adapt that mindset of poor me, and that's impressive. That's very much impressive, and it's encouraging. So,
Yeah.
if you don't mind going into some of that and your current mindset and the things that you're doing now, how did you get to this point?
Yeah. Well, I didn't personally have the legal issues. My brother did. So I grew up in a household in the hood of New Orleans. And my brother was someone who he actually went to the military. And then once he got out of the military, he started selling drugs and doing some awful things. So I kind of had that to look at as an example of what not to do. And that's kind of how I decided to live my life. I actually had two people to look at to kind of tell me what not to do in life. My dad, who was in my life, but he wasn't a great example. He never even finished middle school. So the whole time that I was in high school, I was just trying to to strive to be better than what he was. And then I had my brother who had went to prison when I was in high school. He was actually on the FBI most wanted list while I was in high school. So I had a lot of things that were kind of just, trying to push me in the wrong direction. But I decided to stay away from that because I'm the type of person that can see people's mistakes and decide to do something different based on their mistakes. In the Black community, we have a lot of people who just continue these vicious cycles that we have, these cycles of poverty, these cycles of crime, this cycle of single motherhood. And they just continue the cycle with their children, and then their children's children continue that same cycle. I'm someone who said I wanted to break the cycle. So I knew that my dad didn't have an education. So I said the number one thing that I wanted to do was focus on getting an education. And I know my brother went to prison, and he had he had 5 children by 4 different women. So I said, I'm not going to do that. So
Right.
decided to get married and not have children until I got married. So just observing everyone around me. I grew up in a violent environment in New Orleans. I witnessed murders and all this other kind of stuff. So I said, I want to make sure I don't raise my kids in this type of environment. So I moved out of New Orleans and moved to Texas. So it's just, if us as a community can kind of look at each other and look at the mistakes that each other has made, and then decide to not make those same mistakes, decide not to go in the same direction that our counterparts are going in, I think we'd be better off as a community. But unfortunately, that rarely happens.
I'm right. That's exactly the issue. People don't decide to look outside of their area, their experience, and they're picking idols who are less than honorable. Um, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. Oh, and by the way,
Yep.
I do apologize. I think I misunderstood something that you said on, I think, Sunni's live, where I thought that you had legal issues. I completely apologize. I wasn't trying to
Oh no, you're good. You're
tell the
good.
wrong story there. I'm sorry about that.
No, I could have. I was close, but
Yeah. But see, you made a decision. See what I'm saying? You could have, but you didn't. And that's exactly
yeah.
the push I'm trying to get some of these people to understand. And unfortunately, it's not just younger Black people, it's older Black people that are stuck in this mindset of, this is all I've had, this is all I know, and this is all I'm going to have. It's like, well, that's why you're in the position you're in. You have allowed
Yeah.
yourself to be enslaved, not only by your own ignorance, but by the media. The media is telling you who you are, how your life is, and what your limitations are, and it's your life. So it's like, what sense does this make here, where you're going to let the television tell you who you are, and it's working? So
Yeah.
that's the issue in the Black community. And I made a video about this, and I said, actually, I made a video and then I posted something to Twitter, and I said, the biggest threat to the Black race is the Black race, because
Yeah.
in a lot of other races, they help each other more. They appreciate each other's accomplishments more. A lot of people in the Black community compete. It's something as simple as what you have or how you dress or the house you live in. They call you a sellout for coming up, or they want to try to outdo you. It's like, why does it have to be that way? If you want what this
Yeah.
person has, find out what he did and go get it yourself. Don't be jealous.
Right.
So I think a lot of times when Black people want to point the finger at other races and other things, they don't point the finger at the next Black person.
Yeah.
And until we can figure out how to stick together, help each other come up, these issues are never going to go away. Never going to go away. You got to start with your own
Absolutely.
house first. And so, but with your reach, how did you get to the point? Like, where did you start? And how did you get to the point now where, I mean, you're rubbing elbows with people like ABL, who was my number one media influence. I mean, dude's awesome, super intelligent.
Yeah.
You got ABL, you got Brandon Tatum. These people who are very impactful and monumental, in my opinion. How did you get to that point where you're just like, your name is coming up alongside theirs?
Yeah, I mean it's an honor, and it's definitely a privilege to be in the presence of legends when it comes to the conservative movement. I mean, the way I started off was pretty humble. I remember just having a conversation with my wife because I had watched people like ABL and Brandon Tatum. I think ABL was one of the first conservative influencers that I actually watched on YouTube. So I told my wife, "Hey, I want to be an influencer. I want to be on YouTube because, I would always talk about these issues in the Black community. I would always talk about politics, and I know she didn't want to hear me talk about all this stuff. So I said, well, I gotta go find an audience that wants to, hear me talk about this stuff. So I said, I want to do a YouTube, but I said, I don't really have time to do the videos right now, but I think I can build an audience on Instagram. So I developed a page, came up with a name. It's a video game reference, by the way. So came up with that name and started pushing content on Instagram. It started off a little slow, but I just started to just kind of be creative and kind of find my niche. And that's what I did. I found my niche. I said I wanted to just report news from a conservative perspective, from my perspective. And because my big thing was the media was lying to us. Like that's the way that I became a conservative, because I discovered how much the media was lying to us and politicians were lying to us. So I said I wanted to help people. I wanted to kind of put the word out there for people to see what's really going on. And I had a lot of friends or former friends that hated everything I said. They thought everything I said was bad. They thought I wasn't truthful. They thought, what's wrong with him? Why is he the only person in our group that thinks like this? So, I wanted to kind of put it out there for people to discover what the truth was. So I just started making content on Instagram, started gaining a little bit of a following, and then kind of tailored my approach and tailored my template on how I presented things, cleaned it up, and then I started getting noticed. I started having prominent people that started to repost my post. Bryson Gray was reposting my post. Topher was reposting my post. Then Brandon Tatum started reposting my post, and this was a while ago. And he just kind of kept following me, and his wife kept following me, and always commenting on the things that I was posting. So I guess he kind of took a liking to me and my way of thinking, and one day I got invited on his show, and that was just like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe this, because he's someone that I watched before I even started my Instagram, and just to see where he's come and how he's grown and the prominence that he has in this conservative movement, it's just amazing to be a part of that. And I did the show once, and I've been on his show 3 times. And then recently, I was on the show with some of my favorites, ABL and also Jericho Green. So just to be on a show with Brandon Tatum, ABL, Jericho Green, this little old me, I was like, wow, this is an honor.
Yeah, in the presence of royalty right there.
Right. And then I was invited to go out to Arizona to be a part of his book event, his book release party. And man, just to tell you the feeling that I had while I was out there, and having people come up to me and having people recognize me, and it was just great.
Yeah, that's got to be an honor. I mean, I can only imagine like getting that invitation.
Yeah.
But you deserve it, man. Like honestly, I don't. For
Thank
me,
you.
and I get told a lot that I'm a writer. Oh, you're a writer. I don't want to use all the words they use, but you're a writer. It's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, first of all. And I wouldn't say it in that way. For me, if I believe in someone, I'm gonna get on your nerves because I'm gonna post everything you post. I'm gonna shout you out every chance I get, because for me, it takes a lot to believe in someone to the point where, and it's not like I have this name for myself, right? But even if I had no name at all, it would take a lot for me to want to attach myself to someone else's beliefs and values, especially if we don't align. And
Yeah.
when we do, and it's like you're speaking my mind every time you speak, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna promote you even if I have 50 people following me. Those 50 people are gonna know who you are. And so for me, when I started watching videos, and that that's one of the first places I did see you was on Tatum's show on YouTube with Jericho Green and who's the other person?
ABL.
It's right, but it was a ABL. Oh, it's right. It's 4. I'm counting like it's
Yeah.
5.
Oh yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
we can only fit 4 right now.
right. But I remember that, and was like, you know what, man, this is an all-star panel. And it kind of reminded me of an idea I had a long time ago. I actually pitched this to a couple of networks, and this is right before the pandemic started because I got some emails back, and they love the idea. But right before the
Yeah.
pandemic, they're like, "Oh, to get back to us after all this crazy is over." So safe to say, I never got back to them because it's not over. But I pitched an idea for a panel of 4 males. It's all male panel. We have an older guy, probably in his 60s. I think late 50s, early 60s. You got a guy that's like mm, maybe fresh out of high school. I don't know, 19, 20 something, 22. And you got a
Hmm.
couple of middle-aged guys, married, one not married. The idea was to get a male perspective on issues in society, whether it be race, whether it be sex issues, whether it be dating, whether it be anything like that. And you get a perspective of different walks of life and how their take is, like what their experience is. And so it was a good
Yeah.
idea. So it just never got off the ground. So when I watched you guys, I was listening to everyone. You guys all aligned, but you had different ways of presenting your point. And I was like, this was exactly what I envisioned. You know,
Yeah.
different perspective, but it's not an echo. You know, it's just I see what you're saying, but I agree, but this, that, and that. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can get at least one of these guys to talk to me, I'd be happy just to pick someone's brain. Um, so they promoted your stuff like crazy. So now what is your next step? Like what are you working on, or what is your ultimate goal? Now that you're in it, you know, where do you hope to go from here?
Well, I would love to grow my YouTube channel. That's my goal right now, and I'm hoping that I have more time to do that because I mean, honestly, I could do this all day, and I could spend all my time on Instagram, but you know, it, it's not about the money, right? It's not about the money, but when you're doing something and investing a lot of time in it, of course you would love to get compensated for it,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And the most logical place that you can go to get compensated for what you're doing is on YouTube. So I'm gonna continue to make Instagram content, but it would be nice to be monetized over there on YouTube. So once I do that, then I can focus more on bringing the message and going to other events because right now I'm working a full-time job. So when you're working a full-time job and also trying to provide content, because whenever I provide content, there's a lot of research that has to go into it because I'm not just about to put something out there and I haven't crossed my T's and dotted all my I's yet. So I want to make sure I'm doing all the research to make sure that because I got haters in the comments. So you gotta be armed and ready for the haters in the comments, and
Right.
that's
Right.
facts. Like you gotta have facts to back up everything that you're saying. So I gotta make sure when I'm posting something, I do all my research. So it'd be nice to have more time to do that research. And if I was able to excel on YouTube and just kind of progress there and with the monetization, then I quit my full-time job, do YouTube, do other business ventures, and just focus on getting the message out there because I believe that this is something that I've been called to do. Like, this is not just something that I say, oh, I just want to do this as a hobby. Oh, I just want to do this on the side. I feel like what I'm doing right now and the way that it's going, this must be my calling. This must be what God has called me to do, or it wouldn't work. Like, that's just how I feel about it. The fact that it's progressing and growing the way that it is, this must be for a reason. So I have to put my heart and soul into doing this because if God calls you to do something, you don't halfway do it, right? You put your heart and soul to into it because if he's giving you this gift, then you want to make sure that you show him your appreciation by putting your all into it. And that's what I'm going to do.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. For me, that's is something I can definitely identify with because I try to do things my way, and you know, through different circumstances, I've had a lot of things prophesied over me, and at least 5 or 6 times in my life, I've always had the same prophecy, and it twice when I was young, and 3 or 4 times when I was an adult, but it was always the same prophecy. It was always a different person. They always tell me you were called to preach. or you were called to speak to a mass of people. The last two prophecies, they didn't say preach. They said you were called to speak to a mass of people. You're going to be in front of a mass of people. And for me, I have self-esteem issues. People don't believe it because I post videos all the time. That don't mean I like looking at my own face. I just have something to say. It's just,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to think about that, being in front of people, being seen. But then once I got into what I'm doing now, I was like, you know what? It's not about me. Because if God gives me something to say, I got to say it. And so that's exactly what you're saying. If that's what God wants you to do, you have to take it to heart and you have to take it all the way. Because acting outside of God's will, especially when you know what his will is and he's made it clear to you, things are never going to go right. You're setting yourself
Right.
up for failure. And I'm a living example of what happens when you walk away from the will of God willingly, knowingly doing it never goes well.
Right.
So I feel you on that. And what so you have you're building your page, right? Uh who are you working on as far because what Tatum just released a book. I get the feeling ABL is going to do one too. He's too intellectual not to write a book, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. He
are
told me
you do
he's
you
gonna
have
come
any
out with one.
yes, the merch. That's what I was going to ask you about. I love that
Yeah.
statement on your shirt. I'm going to do this for the podcast, so I'm going to read it. It says
Hmm.
oppressed. There's an adjective. It says a state of mind. So was it say not a state of being?
Yeah.
I love that. That's exactly what we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier. It's all about what's in here. If you allow people to tell you that you're enslaved and you believe it, you're going to act as such. Your actions follow your thoughts. And if you have this defeated mentality, they're not going to let us have it. You're not going to have it.
Right.
So you, how long has your story been established, or did you just start it up?
It's been established probably about maybe 7 to 8 months. It's been
Good
up.
deal.
Yeah. But I just started kind of pushing it a lot. I had like maybe one or two shirts at first, but I kind of started doing a lot of shirts recently. And I just try to put new merch out whenever I can. I want to do some Christmas shirts. So stay tuned for that. I'm just trying to think of an idea and I want to do something that somebody else has done before. So I just want to come up with a unique idea for a Christmas apparel. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to think of something too. I just couldn't think of anything because I had the one I did for Thanksgiving where it was a turkey that said "Come and take it,"
Yeah.
and then because Fauci's trying to ruin Thanksgiving. Now he's saying, "Oh, we don't know what we can gather for Christmas." So I thought about doing a tree or presents. We come and get it. I mean, come and take
Yeah.
it under it. But I was like, I don't know if I can push those fast enough. I don't know if people can even buy them fast enough to put them on around Christmas time. So I'm gonna scrap it. I'm just gonna work on something for next year. But
Yeah.
so you're in the in Houston area.
Yeah.
How is it out there? I'm Austin is a liberal town, and I think DFW, the area I'm in, it's a little mix of it's a mix of everything. So how is
Yeah.
Houston? What's the energy you get out there in Houston, being conservative, wearing the stuff that you wear, with the clear message of, hey, I'm not on the woke side. I know what's going on. Do you get a lot of flack? Do you get some crazy looks while you're out there, or what?
Not really. Houston, it's pretty liberal, but I think a lot of people just kind of mind their own business. We don't have a lot of people in Houston that are the crazy blue-haired liberals that scream at you. So we don't have a lot of that. And the area where I live, it's outside of Houston, and it's definitely pretty conservative. I won't say it's like completely right wing, but it's pretty conservative. The school that my son goes to, they're pretty conservative. The principal is a conservative, and you can tell by the way that things go in the school. I went to my son's school to have lunch with him. Now I know that most schools wouldn't do this, but we were able to walk into the school building without a mask. We were able to sit with him, no mask, no anything. And the kids, they're walking through the cafeteria, they're in class, they don't have mask on. Teachers don't have mask on. I'm like, this is great. Like I'm never moving until he
Right.
finishes elementary school. I'm not moving because I want him to be in this type of environment. I want him to be with people who think like this. So
I love that. It's sad that that's such a breath of fresh air to go somewhere where there's no one screaming at you, put a mask on, or it's sad. It's really sad. It's
yeah,
almost like they're giving away. free stuff at the door or something like that. When you go in, you realize there's no limitations on breathing. It's sad. Well,
Yeah,
it's sad what
no,
we're
no,
living in
and
right
I
now.
haven't. Yeah, and I don't wear a mask anywhere I go. I don't care what people are doing. I haven't worn a mask in a very long time, probably in over a year. So yeah, and a lot of people out here don't wear them. But I did notice something when they started talking about the Omarion variant. A lot of people started wearing masks again. So yeah, all the media has to do is start scaring people about a new variant. And the thing about the new variant, they're saying that it's not as deadly as the other variants, even though they think it may be more contagious, but it's not as deadly as the other variants. And a lot of people are just having mild cases, but the media is not pushing that. The media doesn't want to tell people that. The media would rather have people afraid. And the another crazy thing about the new variant, a lot of people who are getting the variant, most of the people, I would say, a vast majority of the people who are getting the new variant in the United States are fully vaccinated, and a lot of them have booster shots. So they got vaccinated, they got boosters, and they still got the new variant. But we have all these Democrat politicians that are still pushing, hey, you need to go get vaccinated.
It's like, for what? You got people that are
Yeah,
fully vaccinated with boosters and still getting it. It's like,
right.
well, what is there to convince me that it's a good idea? You can still get it. Basically, I mean, they're saying, oh, you can still get it, but at least it won't be as bad. That's not enough to convince me. It's not enough. Like,
Yeah,
and that's what gets me about this whole thing. Just like what you were saying, they're not going to tell the whole story. They want people to live in the fear. And the reason, I think, honestly, they're running out. They're running out of things to do. They're running out of ideas. So it's like they're jumping from this to that. And the one thing that they can continue to push that will never get old are race issues and LGBTQ stuff. They can continue to push that, upset a lot of people, and continue to try to infiltrate our children. That's one thing
yeah,
that they are never going to get tired of, and people will never stop falling for. On both sides of things, I think a lot of people are done falling for this whole vaccine thing. I think people who have made up their mind have made up their mind. Whether you don't want to do it, whether you're going to continue to get them, the minds are made up at this point. You're not going to
yeah. At this
convince anyone
point,
else any other way.
right.
But what people don't listen to me on, and I keep telling them, they have pissed off the liberal side as well. And this administration has lost their grip. They lost their grip when they announced that people who have gotten vaccinated, when they first announced that people who are fully vaccinated still have to distance, still have to wear masks, I saw this shift. I saw this major shift on some of these liberal posts, like on Reddit, because Reddit is horrible. Oh my God. Some of the stuff on Reddit is ridiculous. Worse
Yeah,
than Twitter, in my opinion. But I saw this shift amongst the liberal groups that we thought we did the right thing. We thought we were the patriotic ones. We the one that are trying to protect America. We got the shot. But then to find out they have no more liberties than the unvaccinated, now they're pissed. It's like, I did all this for nothing. So now I'm the idiot. They already were, but now they know it. So it's like people don't realize that there's a lot more good happening than we choose to see. You got this major hospital network in Florida that with 83,000 people are employed there, and now they can go back to work without having to worry about the shot. That's major. That is
yep,
big time. A lot of other corporations are going to, this is going to continue. It's going to have to, because $1 billion corporations are losing money, and they're going to continue to lose money because Taco Bell. I saw a picture on the window of Taco Bell a couple of days ago. Not only are they hiring people for like $14 and $15 an hour, they have a
hmm,
way you can get paid the same day you work. They're setting up pay like kind of like a labor ready. You work one day, you
yeah,
get paid the next day. They're setting that up for Taco Bell just to get people to work, and it's still not working. So
right.
these corporations are going to have to come off these mandates, and they know they are, because businesses are going to continue to crumble because this is unethical. I mean,
Yeah.
I can go in circles on that, but what has any of that affected, your family, your lifestyle, and your work, and or anything like that? How has all this kind of stuff directly affected you, or if at all?
Yeah, well, it's not really affecting me. I mean, even with my kid, this school is not going to push a vaccine mandate for him. And I know some schools are doing that where they're saying that the kid has to be vaccinated. I don't go any place that requires anybody to have a vaccine or anything like that. I believe in freedom, definitely. I don't want anybody telling me or telling anybody in my family or anybody that's my friend or in my immediate circle that they have to do this, that they have to get some kind of medical procedure to be able to participate in daily life. Like that's like just the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it's amazing that Joe Biden said that, oh, we're not going to mandate, we're not going to be doing any of that. And it turns out it's a big fat lie.
Mm-hmm.
And even though people are getting the vaccines, we're still having COVID numbers. People who get the vaccines still get the virus. People who get the vaccine still can pass on the virus. So what's the point? I mean, we really have to focus on what's important, and that's herd immunity. The more people who, honestly, the more people who get the virus, the better off that we will be. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
how viruses work. That's how everything works. I mean, growing up, it said, well, make sure you get the chicken pox so you don't get it when you're older. And if you get the chicken pox, then you won't have to worry about getting the chicken pox anymore because you'll be immune to it. I mean, that's the same thing that happens with COVID. Get COVID, and hopefully you've been taking care of yourself. Hopefully you've been working out, eating right, doing what's right for your body. And if you get COVID, we hope and pray that it doesn't affect you a lot. But there are a lot of people it does, and I'm not gonna ignore that fact that there are people who are susceptible to COVID and may die from COVID. That's a fact. But the rest of us shouldn't live in fear. The rest of us should be able to go out and live a normal life, even though we have this virus out there. The fear is just what's holding everybody back. The fear is really what's keeping this virus going. We just need to just get out there and live a normal life.
Exactly. You have to try. You can only be locked down and kept away from society, but for so long. And there are literally people who stayed in the house for most of, if not all of the major heavy part of the pandemic. And
Yeah,
they actually stayed home. I'm like, yeah, you're better than me. I don't think so. Um, so
absolutely.
you're right. You have to live life. And for me, I'm not going to diminish, just like you said, I'm not going to diminish the impact that it can and has had on a lot of people. But honestly, I think most of us have had it and we don't even realize. I think most, because
Yeah, a lot of
this
us.
originally hit the United States back in 2002 and 2003 during the Bush administration. And while they keep saying they don't know where it came from, they do. They do. There are ways to find those original stories. There are ways to find those original documents. It's public.
Yeah,
You can find it online. You just have to dig for it. But this
right.
virus is called SARS-CoV-2 for a reason, because part one has already been here. And if they didn't find the need to come up with a vaccine for 17 or 18 years, why do they need one now? And there's just stuff that people don't think about. You have to think about what makes sense and what doesn't. You cannot allow yourself to be media driven, emotionally driven, and you have to do your own. You have to, even if it means losing sleep at night to look up what does this mean? What does that mean? How does it tie into this? You have to. You have to do it for yourself. You have to do it for your families. You have to do it for your children's children, because the fight that we put up now, whether it's vaccine, whether it's laws that they're trying to say aren't, what did Biden say about there's no part of the Constitution that's absolute or definite or whatever, and now the
Yeah, something like
Constitution is
that.
no longer a promise. They want, that's what they want us to believe.
Yeah, they want to tear that down.
Exactly. Just like the devil, he has no more power than what you give him. He
Yeah,
can't do anything outside of
that's
what
our
you allow
government. They're
him
the
to do.
devil.
Say again.
I said that's our government. They're a devil.
That's exactly what it is. If you allow them to tell you you can't, you don't have, your rights are nothing, and you believe it, they won. Just like Satan. Satan can't do any more than what you allow him to do. He has no power. And so the more we stand up, step up, remain informed, and say, look, this isn't right, this isn't legal, this is a flat out lie,
Yeah,
and we act on that, we speak up, whether it's school board meetings, whether it's social media, whether it's in your own homes, we have to say something. because the more we comply, the more they're going to continue to do this. It's the compliant ones is the reason why this is continuing to go on, because they see it's working somewhere. If they see the majority of people say, forget that, enough is enough, what are they going to do? What can they really do? Nothing.
Or they
But
can get
people
like
have not figured that
Australia.
out yet. They're not tired yet. So I don't know what it's going to take to tell you the truth. I don't know what else it's going to take. They're going to keep coming up with variants. They're going to keep coming up with another fear factor, distractions, false flags. This is an old school thing. This has been going on since before you and I were born, and it's never going to change. So
Yeah.
we now have to make this push for our grandchildren and our great grandchildren. Because if we lose this fight, that's it. People don't realize how crucial this is, not just as a patriot, but as a Christian. The only thing that's going to save this world is God. You can sign any petition that you want. You can march any event that you want. You can hold up any picket sign you want. But if Christ is not involved in the changes of this nation, nothing will ever be fixed. And it's going to get a whole lot worse. So the people of God are the ones who need to step up right now. So I until that happens in a major way, these things are going to continue to just pick away at America, pick away at our rights. And that's why we need people like you, people like ABL, people like Tatum. Craig Long, that's one of your friends, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just started getting into some of his stuff. I mean, this guy's hardcore. I mean, all you guys doing what you're doing, yet they want to look at rappers and entertainers and Cardi B's and all those people like that as examples. It blows my mind how lost this youth group, this generation is. So, hey, I keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's working. And I see so many people post your stuff. You're in more places than you realize. You realize it, but a lot of times people don't tag you when they share your stuff. So, I know that. Yeah, you're doing awesome stuff, man. It's definitely admirable.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I already asked you what your next steps are, but what do you have? Okay, say this is the last question. Put you on the spot here. You are governor of Houston. You're in politics now, right?
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, not governor. I'm sorry, mayor of Houston.
Okay.
You are the mayor of Houston, and you have to make changes. Things need to be done. You're being looked at for Senate. How are you going about these changes? What are you doing to make these differences that you preach about? What are you going to put into place?
Well, I'm going to start decentralizing single parent households. So I'm going to enact certain legislation that puts a time limit on how long people can be on welfare and food stamps and Section 8 and all this stuff. And you actually have to prove that you're looking for work. Once you find work, you're completely cut off of the program. And I think that'll be a good way to kind of start getting people to think about the situations that they're having children in. And I think that will hold more people accountable for things that are happening. I think that's one step. I'm going to develop different programs to go in the inner cities and work with the children. I'm going to get people to get involved in their communities. If that means, starting neighborhood watches or having a certain police patrol at certain times of the day, every single day in high risk neighborhoods, get police to get active in the communities, do community events, do community outreach, encourage that type of activity, just to get people to, get a better relationship with police officers, because we need the community's help in order to rid the communities of drug dealers and murderers and gangbangers and stuff like that. So, doing stuff like that, try to get some of the illegal guns out of the neighborhoods and make it easier for law-abiding citizens to arm themselves, because I think the only way that you can stop violent criminals is if the citizens are armed so they can fight back against these people. Because I guarantee you, a lot of houses that have NRA stickers on them are not getting robbed like the other houses. So if you arm the citizens, I think that'll make a major difference. What else would I do? Yeah, that's what I would do on day one. I got to think of some other things that I would do, but definitely trying to de-incentivize bad behavior and incentivizing good behavior as a start.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. You might want to pass those notes to Lightfoot over there and see if she can learn a couple things, you know.
Oh no, that's Chicago. So yeah. I would
Yeah.
have to that would be what's his name? Sylvester Turner over here in Houston.
No, that's what I mean, like pass it out there.
Oh,
to
you're talking
Chicago.
about pass it out to Chicago, yeah.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
might need
that'll
to
work.
she might need to take notes from that list
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I think so. She's not doing a very good job.
Yeah. Are you quick question? Are you a part of Black City Houston or?
Yeah, I'm a part of Black City.
Okay, awesome, good deal. Yeah, I think I know Lucky is out there as well. She's awesome. She just got a chair on the city council for Houston, and that's pretty cool to have a conservative up there, part of Black City, you know, doing major things. That's pretty cool. That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, hey, I appreciate your time, and this means a lot to me. And you know, hey, you know, whenever you carve out more time, you let me know, we can do this again. But yeah, so you plugged your places to find you on social media. Can we find your store? What is your store called online where we can type it in?
So if you go to my Instagram and just click on shop, you can get there. Or if you go to my website and click on shop, you can get to my merch there as well.
And it's just
I added a lot of new
rightwingedangel.com.
items. Yeah, rightwingedangel.com. I have a lot of new items, so check it out. I got a Kyle Rittenhouse shirt that says not guilty. I got my self-defense is not illegal hoodies and t-shirts. So yeah, check that out. And I got this oppressed shirt. So
I like that shirt actually. I actually have one that says not. I put not here, and the O goes to oppressed down here, so it's not oppressed. And it's funny because I thought about wearing it. I was like, man, I should wear that. It's like, nah, it would have been crazy coincidence. We got the same kind of stuff on, but yeah, I like yours a whole lot better.
Thank you.
I'm to get one of those for myself. Is it coming in other colors?
Yeah.
Because
most of my shirts come in they come in all different colors. So probably a lot of my shirts come in like at least 5 different colors. So
oh yeah, I'm going to get that in red. But yeah, I appreciate that. I thank you for your time again, man. We will definitely have to do this again. And yeah, man, you guys enjoy this. It's going to be on podcast. And of course, I'm going to post a video. We'll catch you on the next one.